Actually, I'm just about a few feet, well, I'm about 40 feet north of where I was. I found a flat spot and I wanted to test this, and sure enough, take a look. This is a flat spot. I smoothed it off, cleared away the weeds and the dirt, and there's asphalt. There's Main Street. It's still here. It's just buried under mud and dirt and weeds, but it's still here. Well, actually, yeah, that's asphalt. I was wondering for a moment if that was concrete. No, it's not concrete. It's asphalt. So, I mean, there you go. You're saying that's not a street. It is. It's a street with 4 inches of dirt on top and then these weeds growing up out of the dirt. But it's still there underneath all this. So, I just wanted to show you that. We'll get back up to 51. Well, again, just for the hell of it, I decided to stop about another 40 feet up in a flat spot and just dig with my screwdriver and see what I could find. Clear away 2 inches of dirt. There you go. The street's still there. Asphalt street is still there. It's just got, depending on, you know, it's just got anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of dirt piled on top of it, and then the weeds growing on top of that. But the road is still there underneath all that. This is Main Street. I mean, unbelievable to think that there's an asphalt, about a 30-foot wide asphalt road that's still sitting here. It's just buried, but it's still here. All right. One more time just for the hell of it. Again, another 40 feet or so. I found this little, you know, fairly empty space here. Clear away the dirt. Asphalt. The street's still here. It's just buried. This is the last one of these I'm going to do because I think I proved my point. Found another empty space here, and this is actually fairly shallow. Asphalt. Main Street. In the middle of all the weeds. That's the last one of those I'm going to do because, you know, at any point, really, you can just stop and start digging and you find the street. It's there. So, I'm getting tired of digging. That's last. I proved my point. I'm not going to do any more of those. At least I say that now. I'm still heading back up to 51. Okay, so one more of it. The thing about asphalt is it's not like concrete. It's not a perfectly flat thing. It's just laid down on top of dirt, and it's got, you know, parts that are lower, higher. I found actually a patch of it right here in the middle of all this. I didn't even have to dig this up. Look at that. This is a part, I can see about 6 feet of it here, about 4 feet wide. And it's still bare, probably because this section here is probably higher than the rest of it. You know, an asphalt road is not perfectly flat, particularly older ones. But here's a good section of Main Street that's still visible. See, the thing with asphalt though, and I hope you can see this, you see this plant right here is growing up through the asphalt. Asphalt is not a strong substance, and the plants grow up through it, the roots just rip it apart and it destroys it. So some of these plants, they have roots that grow up through the asphalt. A lot of these other grass and weeds, they're just growing in the soil that's on top of the asphalt. Most of the road is still here. It's just this is the first section I found way back in here where you can still see the road. I mean, there's a section of it just that's still on the surface. Most of it's buried under 2 or 3 inches of dirt. All right, pause again. Okay, I'm approaching 51 again. I don't feel the need to do any more little videos, but I saw several other places where I think the road was probably, you know, Main Street was probably a little higher, where there's more patches visible. So, Main Street, asphalt Main Street, it's still there. It's still intact. It's just covered by dirt. You say, well, how come you can see that, but you can't see that? Well, this was laid down later, and that's a good 6 inches taller. That's laid down on top of the old Main Street. And it's a good 6 inches higher than this. So it just, you know, sticks up more. But you can just walk back through here, and at almost any point, I'd advise a straight head screwdriver. It's great for digging. At almost any point you can stop and just dig up the weeds and the dirt. The street is still there. It's just covered by dirt. Okay, that's not particularly pleasant. There's a group of butterflies here, and they're eating turds. That's pleasant. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so again here, bank would have been there, drugstore would have been here, although it would have been sitting back from the road some. Tell you what, I'm kind of seeing a line there, and I know that there was diagonal parking here. I'm going to leave my stick right there. There was diagonal parking here, and then there was a sidewalk, and then the ow. Hard to say. I'm sticking my screwdriver straight down, and I'm running into something solid, but it's a good 6 inches down there. Well, in places it appears to be solid. Unknown. But I do know by looking at old pictures. I'll show you that picture I'm talking about when I get up there. You kind of see a thing here. There was a sidewalk right here. The drugstore, you're looking at the drugstore, it's right there. But there was a sidewalk that ran in front of it with diagonal parking there. And I'm kind of seeing, I don't know how well you can see it, but I can kind of see a flat space here. I think this is where the sidewalk ran. I'd love to be able to dig up a section of this sidewalk, but if it's here, man, this is thick here. If it's there, it is really buried in a lot of mud. I mean, it was there. If it's still there, I don't know. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't still be there. Right here would have been that fairly long brick building with the, had a barber, as I said, and a hair salon or something, and a cafe and a hotel upstairs. It was a 2-story brick building, fairly wide. Would have been sitting right there. Down on this side, I have some pictures, and I can't prove it right now, but I also have some pictures. I believe there was also a gas station sitting on the south side of 51, pretty much right here, because I've got some pictures that I can work out. I can't prove it right now, though, but I've got some pictures that look out, and in the background you can see a particular sign. And I've got another picture that shows Main Street looking that way, where you can see the same sign. I know the Sinclair gas station was over here. I believe there's another gas station right there. Just because I got a picture from that gas station showing a sign, which I know is on the north side of Main Street, or of Highway 51 here. So, back in here, I'm approaching, let me walk a bit faster. Sinclair gas station would have been over here, run by the, from this old map, it says that it's run by the Clegg brothers. And on either side of the gas station is apparently the Clegg brothers' residences. One's on one side and one's on the other. Over here was someone's residence. On this corner here, I'm approaching the corner of Cimarron Avenue and Highway 51. On the southwest corner was someone's residence. On the southeast corner was someone's residence. Oh, okay. This is Cimarron Avenue. also known as Old Highway 48, also known as the River Road, because the road originally just went straight through there, and that's where the bridge was that crossed the Arkansas River, or excuse me, is that the Arkansas River, the Cimarron River? I think that's the Cimarron River there. But the road went straight through there, and that's where the bridge was up there that crossed the river. 51 continues on back in there. I've got another video that I followed that whole road back. You can watch the other video to see that. This road, I'm told, was never paved. Although, and you walk back in there and you can see, yeah, likely it was never paved. I do see some asphalt here, though. But this asphalt might have been an asphalt driveway to this person's residence, because there's no way you're going to see it on the camera, but back in there I can see a flat space, possibly an old foundation. So you see a couple of things of asphalt here, but I don't believe that was the road. I believe that was, you know, something to have to do with this residence, because none of this, I've walked back in there quite a ways, none of that was ever paved, and I've been told it was never paved. But the school, go back in there, I've been told anywhere from 2 to 4 blocks on the east side of the street, on that side of the street. So let me pause this one more time and pull my pictures out again. Well, at least I'm at a spot here out of the wind. Well, actually I don't mind the breeze, but back there was blowing my pictures away. Okay, so I'm at the intersection of Cimarron and 51, which on the satellite photo, I'm right here. Cimarron goes that way. The river road ran that way and it went across the river. Railroad tracks, see this? The railroad tracks ran down here. There's a rock on that. Now again, from here, this is Main Street. From here to here is 370 feet. From there to there is 370 feet. From there to there is 370 feet. 4 north and south running streets. 1st Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, which is 51, and 4th Street. There is further, you can see the road, it comes down here and it goes back up. This is Old Highway 51. There's supposed to be a church down here. One of the schools is down over here somewhere, as well as the Coonrod family home. And there's a church here, and then one of the schools is down here. I've got a picture. Oh, here, hang on. You see, I've got a lot of pictures here. Here's one of the schools, which I believe is the school that's supposed to be down in this area. And there's that school. Well, there is a bit of a breeze here. It's not too bad, though. Oh, come on! Here's a couple of pictures of the depot. That's looking west, and that's the okay, just when I said that there was no wind blowing my pictures away, the wind starts blowing the pictures away. There's a depot looking west. There's 3 sets of tracks because there was a switch here. That's the cotton gin back there, and here's another picture of the cotton gin. Cotton gin was on the south side of the tracks. The depot was on the north side of the tracks. And this is the same depot, but it's looking from the other side. This is facing east. So there's depot facing west, the depot facing east. What's interesting about this depot, even though you can't see it in this picture, because the picture, okay, there's goes all my pictures. I'm going to pause it. I'm in the same place I was. I put away the pictures I didn't need. This is Main Street, looking west. See the hotel here, or excuse me, not the hotel, the bank is right there. The drugstore is right there. See, there's some business here, but I don't know what this one is. There's the Sinclair station. Sorry, there's the Sinclair station right there. See the gas pumps. Whatever this building is here, then the drugstore, the bank. You can't see in this picture, but this picture is actually the same picture. This sign here with the HC is the same one right there. Here's the drugstore with its white bricks. There's the bank. Now I've got another old picture here looking west at sunset. There's the bank. There's that sign. Here's that big building I'm describing that faces off on 51 with the barber and the hairdresser, the cafe, the hotel upstairs. See, these cars here are like from the 40s. This picture is probably 60, 70 years old. Who knows? I mean, these are old cars. But anyway, I'm standing right here, and all this is facing down that way. But one other thing I want to show you if I could. This picture and this picture are the same. You see this tree here with the notch? It's the same tree right there with the notch. You see in this picture, that sign right there? Here comes the wind again. Picture there is, I know it's a Texaco station. Now this Texaco station, shoot, I forgot to show you this earlier. We're looking west along Main Street. Down towards the end of Main Street, there's the Texaco station. You see this sign right there? That's that sign on this really crappy picture. There's a little bitty Texaco with a water tower in the background. That would be somewhere over here. I'm not exactly sure. Just wanted to show that to you. So, so anyway, that's about. Let me put these away before they all blow away again. So, well, I've showed you all of this. I haven't got up here. I'm not sure if I'm going to today. I'm tired. And this wind. Hey, the breeze feels good, but it makes it hard to film anything. We don't want to blow everything away. So, and again, I'm standing right here. So hopefully showing you the satellite photo, and you know, 51 went across here and it turns south and goes down here. You can pull out Google satellite, you know, just get on Google satellite or Google Maps and then go to satellite view. And you should, I mean, this is 2 miles northwest of the present day town, Mannford, Oklahoma. So just get on Google satellite and go to Mannford, Oklahoma, and then go 2 miles northwest, and you'll see this, you know, unique thing here. You know, it's not hard to find. But I've tried to show you all through this video of where I was at any given time. You know, so hopefully it's been helpful. I've got more pictures I could show. I wish I could just display them all on this, you know, just on the thing in very good quality, but I don't want to do that because I don't really have, some of these pictures don't belong to me, and I don't have the people's permission, and I don't want to piss them off. Although I can say I'm not making any money off of this. I'm not actually trying to, you know, promote anything. I'm just trying to show what I know of the town. See, there's 51 looking west. Oh God, let me pause this just momentarily. So anyway, that's 51 looking west. That there, you see, that's 51 looking west. That's the same 51 looking west. These pictures are taken, you know, this picture was taken almost where I'm standing. I don't know how well you can see that. But, so that's 51 west, and that's 51 west. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. What I will do, if you want to, you can turn off the video at this point. I'm going to walk back down Main Street and just kind of give a guided tour. Or not Main Street, I'm going to walk back down 51 here. I'm heading out from here. There's not going to be anything really new from here. But I'm going to walk down Highway 51. So if you're bored already, you can turn the thing off. Otherwise, you can hang with me for a few more minutes. Okay, Cimarron Avenue going south. River Road. I'll come back in the winter, and I'll get back in there in the winter when it's not so thick. There might be stuff to find back there, you know. But I'll try to do this fairly quickly. I'll try to walk fairly quickly so as not to make this any longer than it needs to be. But in any case, someone's residence here. Someone's residence here. A funeral home on that corner. One of the Clegg brothers apparently lived on this corner. Sinclair Station about right there. And then the other Clegg brother from this old map apparently lived on the other side of the Sinclair Station, as far as I can tell. On this side of the street, I believe there was another gas station. It's not on the map, but I've got a picture that I can see a sign across the street that I know is on the north side of the street. Coming up on here, there was another brick building, a store. I don't know what it was. And then as we get closer here, I mean, this is not a big town. Each of these north-south streets, as I said, is separated by 370 feet. So here we'd be coming up on the drugstore. Drugstore on the right, diagonal parking, sidewalk. That big brick building, the long brick building that faces out on 51 here is right there. Approaching Main Street. You know, I don't know if you can see that. It's a bright green lizard. Really fast sucker. Just took off across the street there. Approaching Main Street. You know, I'm just too tired to go on down to the railroad tracks. You know, I had a section of a video, or I did a video yesterday. It's just I decided to redo it today because there was a lot of stuff I didn't know yesterday that I know today. Because I got home and I looked at the satellite, looked at some other pictures. But maybe I'll cut in. I went up there yesterday and walked on the railroad tracks, and maybe I'll just kind of cut that little part out of that video and tack it on this one. So here's Main Street. There, and it looks just like grass and weeds, but at almost any point you can stop and dig, and asphalt is still there. So drugstore, Coonrod Drugs, later Kendrick Drugs. Bank right there. Behind this building there is the building that had the Goodyear sign. You got City Hall, garage, furniture store, fire station, feed mill all down that way. The water tower would have been right here. Some little cafes sitting right here. Bank here to the west of the bank on this side of the street. Some sort of something that has a Gulf Oil sign hanging in front of it. Whether it's a garage or a gas station, I don't know. It's not on the map. On this side of the street, that grocery store that I showed you with what you can clearly see the water tower behind that. Most of the businesses on this side of the street between here and the corner, well, you had the post office on the corner with a barber and what other was that? Post office and a cafe and another little cafe and a barber on this corner right here, because we're approaching what I believe to be Creek again, the other north-south running street. On this corner here, other than, well, you had the, I guess Hugh Vaught, the guy, lived on this corner, and then you had the grocery store right there. And here we are at what I believe to be Creek Street, because it's the next north-south street to the west of Main Street that's shown on that old map, and it would have just run right through there, and then right up there. I don't believe it was ever paved. It ran right through there and there. Continuing down. Now, that old map doesn't show anything on the west side of Creek Street. So, I don't know what was on the west side of Creek Street, other than I've got that picture that shows that little Texaco station. Would have been on this side of the street. And now this north-south street you're running. Oh, I couldn't see I thought my camera turned itself off. I couldn't see the screen. This north-south street you see running here, this is the one they put in later for the recreation area. This was not there. So ignore this. This came later. This does not have anything to do with the original town. A little Texaco station. Hard to say. It was just somewhere, you know, right around here, but you could plainly see the water tower. But the water tower was kind of far back in there. It's one thing. The Texaco station was on down this way, and it might have been on the corner of this other street here. As far as what this other street was, as I said, in front of the museum, there's a signpost that, you know, from the corner of South Dawes Street and East Kansas Street. South Dawes, East Kansas. I don't know. That old map doesn't show anything about a South Dawes or an East Kansas. You know, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Street. 3rd Street is Highway 51. 1st, 2nd, 4th, maybe they were also had actual names. I don't know. But there was, somewhere in Mannford here, was the intersection of South Dawes and East Kansas. And the part I've showed you, see, this is this other north-south street here. From here to Creek is 370 feet, from Creek to Main is 370, and from Main to Cimarron is 370. The city did not end at Cimarron, it went on past that, but I don't know how far. I want to go ahead and just walk down this one here, because here in a bit we'll get down to 2nd Street. As I said, Highway 51 is 3rd Street. And if you're bored, go ahead and turn the thing off. Otherwise, hang with me. What was on this street? I don't know. I should have said when you go up Creek Street there, north of 51, there was a garage up there. Also north on Main Street, when you get up by the railroad tracks, on the right side of the street was a Catholic church, according to that old map. There's nothing to see now. And man, I'm tired. Yesterday I did, first thing in the morning, I went and did about an 8-mile hike on Turkey Mountain. And then I came out here yesterday when it was much harder. I came out in the afternoon and it was about, well, it was about 85. It wasn't too bad. But hey, 85 is hot enough. I do want to show you a thing here where the road passes over a concrete culvert. As I said, I don't believe that this road was ever paved. And I would expect, since this is kind of set off you know, the main part of town, I would expect this is a street that had residences on it. It might have had also other things, maybe it had gas stations or something, but I would just figure that this was off of Main Street, or some sort of residential street. Now here we're getting down to 2nd Street. And here's a very old, it passes over a concrete culvert. To my knowledge, whoa, almost fell. To my knowledge, the town did not go any farther west than where I am now. So all of that, as far as I know, the town never extended over there. But here's this old culvert, and this is from the original town. This thing is extremely weathered. You can see here on the other side, again. I looked at this once to see if there was any dates. If there ever was, well, it's just been so weathered. You know, it's been eaten away for 50 years. And then 2nd Street, right here. And it goes all the way over to Cimarron. You could follow this for 4 blocks over to, actually, I guess it's Creek, Main, Cimarron, be 3 blocks. But as I said, as far as I know, nothing ever extended over to here. So, Highway 51 3rd, and here's 2nd. We'll go ahead and walk down to what I believe to be 1st Street. It's 9:30. I got out here about 7:30. It's supposed to get up into the mid-90s today, so it's a good reason to get out here really early this morning. Right now, what with the breeze, it's actually pretty pleasant. I got another video. I'm not sure if I covered this street on that video or not. I'm not sure if I walked up and down it. There is a couple of concrete foundations down here. Whether they're foundations of houses or foundations of businesses, I don't know. If the weeds aren't too thick, I'll try to walk back to them. This road that you're seeing down there is, again, that recreation road that they put in later. It's not part of the original town. I gotta be careful walking down here because when I was walking by here earlier, there was a skunk walking around in the weeds here. I don't want to startle a skunk, you know? That's just not generally a good idea. Boy, there's a concrete foundation. Problem is, these weeds you're seeing here are 5 feet tall. Where is that foundation? Can I even see it here? If it was wintertime, you could see it easily, because it's not covered by all this stuff. It's out in the middle of all those weeds, and I just don't really feel like, you know, climbing back in those weeds to get to it. Okay, and then, as I said, First Street. Again, I hope you can see. You know, you can see it there, runs there. That's First Street. 2nd Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street. I know we didn't get up to 4th Street today. Now I'm walking back down this thing to my truck. This is where I'm going to end this video. I hope you enjoy the effort I put into this. You know, hopefully showing you with a satellite photo, you got a better idea of where I am. When I'm just walking around here with a camera, you have no idea. But with a satellite photo, hopefully that was helpful. I'm tired. I'm going to go ahead and put this away. I'll try to get in the that thing yesterday where I did go up by the railroad tracks. I'll try to cut that out of yesterday's video and tack it onto this one. But I'll see you later. Okay, I'm adding this on the end of this video. I wanted to be able to show you some pictures to go with, you know, the video you saw. I was here today. I've got all these pictures on the wall. Now I've got all these pictures on my computer in digital form, and I could easily put them on the internet in a way that you could see them all up close and download them yourself. But the problem is, I don't own a lot of these pictures, so I can't really do that because some people might get upset. So I figured I would do it like this. I'll go through them with you. I figured I'd do it like this just so you can see them, but not in a format that that's going to do you a lot of good. Now I want you to, what we got here, I want you to envision this as being Highway 51 and this as being Main Street. Northwest corner of Highway 51 and the corner of Highway 51 and Main Street, say that's the intersection right there. Northwest corner, you've got the bank. Beautiful cut stone building. Northeast corner, the drugstore. Now, here's actually a picture of the older drugstore. You see back then it was Coonrod Drugs. And you can see it, that's, you know, it goes down Highway 51 there. And notice this little sign right there. That's on the Sinclair station down there. I'd said in the video that there was a drugstore and then another brick building. I didn't know what it was. That's a grocery store. On this old map, it describes that grocery store as being the Hughes Feed and Grocery. So this here would be Hughes Feed and Grocery. Drugstore, Hughes Feed and Grocery, and then you got the Sinclair, or the Clegg brothers and their Sinclair station. So that's the northeast corner. The southeast corner, you've got the White Way. Well, this building here is the White Way Cafe. This here was a barber shop and a beauty salon, apparently not at the same time. It was one or the other. This is a hotel up here, and this corner is Sinclair gas station, another Sinclair gas station. And this is actually, this picture here is actually a close-up of that. You can tell, you can see in this picture here the cross-hatching on the wall, and then here's the windows and the door. Well, here it is. Here's the cross-hatching on the wall, the windows, and the door. It's the same place. Now this, look at this car. That's an old picture there. This was taken probably sometime later, but that's the same place. So that's southeast corner. And I tried to show you this picture earlier. This building here is that building there. But this you would be standing on Main Street facing northeast. This is the drugstore over here, and then across the street is the White Way Hotel Cafe. And then this building here with the Chevy emblem. So I'm assuming this is a Chevy dealership. And here's a very grainy photo, and this is also looking west down Main Street. See this sign here hanging in front of, I'm not really clear, is that the, I'll get back to that. But then you can see this building here, well, that's the White Way Cafe, but you're seeing it from down the street. And look at, you know, these cars, this is like in the 40s. And this would be the bank. The drugstore would be here, but you can't see it. It's too dark. I mean, this is a very old photo, and it's not very clear. So, bank on the northwest corner, drugstore on the northeast corner, White Way Cafe, Barber Hotel, Sinclair gas station on the southeast corner. Southwest corner is the City Cafe. And this is not a good photo. Right here, and it's very hard to read, but I can blow up on my computer, it says City Cafe. And then on the wall behind this, it says Mannford Hardware. So I realize, I'm trying to get that where there's no glare, but I realize this is not a good picture, and you can see the water tower back there. I actually took this picture out of a book. So actually this one I do own. Well, in the sense that, you know, I got it out of a book. So that says City Cafe. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm trying to hold the camera steady. And then behind, now I believe, I can't prove this, I believe that this building is the original hardware store. There's the original Mannford Hardware Company. And I believe that this building here is that original store, because this says Mannford Hardware on the side, although this part would have been added on. It's got the same sloping thing. I wish I could show this to you. Actually, I probably could, because since I took this picture out of a book, you know, I took a picture of it out of a book, I could probably show this one to you. But in any case, I don't have it now, you know, well, not in this medium. But I believe this is the original hardware store. So, northwest corner bank, northeast corner drugstore. There, and then there's a picture kind of looking down 51. Southeast corner, White Way, you know, White Way Cafe, Hotel, Barbershop, Beauty Salon, and Sinclair gas station. And here's a close-up of the Sinclair gas station. And then behind this building on Main Street is you've got the Chevy dealership. And then you can see that same building right there looking west down Main Street. Now, moving on here, we've got this picture here looking down Main Street west. Here is the Sinclair gas station. Now, that other building would be over here with the Sinclair gas station. Well, here's another Sinclair gas station right here. You see the HC sign there. See the same HC sign there. Now, I showed you this picture earlier. See, this tree is the same as this tree. So, here's a Sinclair gas station, and there's a picture of that gas station. See the HC sign hanging in front of it is the same HC sign hanging in front of that one. So that's a picture of the Sinclair gas station on the north side of Highway 51 between Main Street and Cimarron. Now, in this picture, here's the bank, here's the drugstore. You can tell the drugstore with these white bricks. This Hughes Feed and Grocery would be over here, but you can't see it too well. You can't see anything over here, what with the trees, and it's just a very bad image. But you can see this sign. That's this Texaco sign. I had this picture done in color. It's a little bit better quality while it was. This is facing west. So this is looking to the southeast. And this is this little Texaco station. Now this little Texaco station would probably be located, okay, this is Cimarron. This is Main Street. This is, I believe, to be Creek, and this is another street. I don't know what this street was. This is Highway 51 or 3rd Street. That little Texaco station would probably be located about right there. And then the picture is looking off in this direction. Now, You've got the food market here. This is supposed to be Hugh Vaughn's food market. This picture would be taken, okay, this is Creek, I believe. This picture would be about right here, looking off in this direction. Now, a few more pictures here. Here's a picture I didn't show you before. This is a picture of the Cimarron River Bridge. This is on the north side of the river, looking towards Mannford. It's a very grainy photo, but, you know, at least it's there. Here's this picture standing on 4th Street. Well, actually, it's 4th Street passing right in front of you, looking north. And here is that Chevy dealership. This is the White Way Cafe Hotel. There's the drugstore right here, and there's the bank. And then that cafe would be over here, and Highway 51 passing this way, Main Street going north. This, according to the old map I've got, you know, which is this map right here, I got from Spittin' Whittle's Facebook page. I don't want to show you that too closely. He may not like it, but it shows this perhaps being the feed mill, because it shows the feed mill and then an empty lot, and it kind of looks like there's an empty space there, but in any case it shows the fire station and then City Hall, a Virgil Fisher's garage, then another cafe and a furniture store, and then something called Dick Stromat. I don't know if that's a residence, and then the cafe on the corner. On this side of the street it shows Varnell Grocery, and I don't know, this is, here you see this old school bus. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. It shows Varnell Grocery, Ray Sanderson Ice, then George Cooper Shoes, possibly, and then something else written that I can't see. And he says, he shows, according to this old map, this building here containing the, he calls it Jean's Cafe and Hayes' Beauty Shop. But I think it probably went through a few different names and a few different owners in that time. Now, on further down, oh, I wanted one other thing. Okay, here's the bank. Actually, 51 is here, and that's Main Street there. West of the bank, according to this map, is, well, there's a lumber company, which may be this here, although there is, what did I do with that? Oh yeah, here's the bank, and then here's this building. Well, there's a Gulf, it's very hazy, you can't read any of this, but there, that is a Gulf Oil sign. I can blow it up on my computer and tell that's a Gulf Oil sign. But as far as what the business is, this old map lists a lumber company, although it doesn't list anything next to the bank, you know. So maybe there was, maybe that was Gulf Oil, a garage, who knows. And then it shows a barber and the Coffee Cup Cafe and the post office on the corner. Well, I have a picture actually of the Coffee Cup Cafe that's on his map. Very hard to read, but that's Coffee Cup Cafe right back here. Here's the bank. This, you see this car, it's the same car. This is actually some still images taken from a movie. So there's the bank, Gulf, whatever this is, and a little bit further west you've got the Coffee Cup Cafe. I can't read what that sign is. So, what else here? The Cotton Gin, which would have been located about right here because these are the railroad tracks. Train depot looking west. And I wish you could see this. It doesn't come through on this picture, but on the building here it says Mannford, but it spells it Mannford with one N, M-A-N-F-O-R-D. Now it started as Mansford and then became Mansford and then Mannford, but it never had one N, so I don't know when they put the sign up on the building if they did it wrong, but it did say Man, one N, Mannford. Here's the same building, that's just on the east side. You notice there's actually 3 separate tracks here. I don't know why 3. There was a switch, so they had to have 2. I'm not sure what's the deal with the third. Now here's, I believe, the original grade school. And I might have, or I might not. Who knows? I thought I had another picture of that. And then here is the high school, and I took this, just a picture out of a book. Yeah, see this glare, that's not actually glare, that's on the picture itself. But there is the high school, and I'm not sure if that was also located on Cimarron Avenue, because it talks about the old grade school being a few yards north. So it may have been that they built the old grade school first, and then built this to the south. And then lastly, I've got this picture, which is supposed to be in Mannford. Thing is, I have no idea. It's a very low quality picture. I have no idea what this is a picture of, what street, or even what direction. This says Seidlitz Paints or something, this sign right here, but otherwise, I can't recognize anything in this picture. You know, I see a street corner in a passing, but if anybody has any idea what this might be, you know, let me know, because I have no idea. So anyway, again, from here to here is 370 feet, or 372, or 371 and a half, or 373 and 3/4. It's evenly spaced. I just say 370 rounding off. That's exactly the same from there to there, and then from there to there, and from there to there. They're evenly spaced. So Cimarron, Main Street, Creek, and then Mystery Street over here. So that's just to give you a little better idea of a little bit more about the town. Once more, northwest corner of Main Street, bank. Northeast corner of Main Street, the drugstore. Southeast corner, the hotel and cafe with the St. Clair gas station in the corner right there. Behind the White Way Hotel on Main Street, the Chevy dealership. And on the southwest corner, you've got the City Cafe with Mannford hardware store, which I believe to be, I believe the left-hand side of that is the original Mannford hardware building. Well, there you go. Hopefully just showing you the pictures like this isn't going to piss anyone off. I could easily put these on a Facebook page or a photo booklet page, where you can view them in a lot more detail, and I'd be happy to do that if I had permission. So maybe I'll get some remarks to this video and somebody will say, hey, show me the pictures, and as long as everybody's cool with it, I'd be happy to do that. But for now, let me just end that here. And I've gone through a lot of trouble for this, and it would be nice if somebody cared, so I'll talk to you later.